All right. Hi, I'm Zane with Zane Engineers Life. Today we've got Nico Lavin. He's here from New Zealand. It's early morning Friday for him. He's getting started on his day, trying to figure out what he wants to do. Nico, you hit me up. How did you originally find me? YouTube?
Yeah, I saw YouTube short and then messaged you from there. I found your LinkedIn and messaged you from there.
Awesome, and I'm proud of you for doing that. You chased me down, and look, you got on a call. This will be cool. We'll see what we can do to help you out. You sent me a message on LinkedIn. It said, I saw your YouTube short on choosing between business or engineering degrees and wanted to get your input on my situation. I'm currently struggling between following the traditional university path or taking a more unorthodox approach. I'm starting an engineering degree this year, but I'm also deeply interested in business, sales, and real estate. I want to make sure I'm setting myself up for real opportunities, not just following the conventional route because it's expected. All right, talk me through it. What's the big question? What's the big issue? What's the why? And most importantly, Nico, what do you want to do?
I like the going outside of the university, but it's been hard to find a path, hard to find a realistic, this is what I want to do, other than side hustles.
Sure.
University is quite easy to fall into. My parents anyway are there to pay for it and support me financially and support me emotionally and all that. But going off the track it's harder to find the path, There's not like university lectures and the whole system there to help you out.
Sure. Now, just for some context, your parents, did they both go to university? Do they both work? What do they do in their careers?
They both went to university. My dad's an engineer. My mum she did a marketing degree.
Okay. So they both went that route. So that's kind of the route they know and they understand, right? Okay. And then that's kind of the route they've at least kind of steered you into at some point. Are you planning on staying in New Zealand?
I'm from Spain and I want to return someday. I wanted to return for this year because my parents they wanted me to get some sort of qualification first before going back to Spain.
Gotcha. Okay. So your parents went to university, you've finished up, you're ready to go, you've signed up, you've got a couple weeks to decide what you want to do. And I noticed from your LinkedIn page that you say you are in real estate and sales and seeking mentorship and opportunities in business. So why didn't you put engineering there?
I put that on my LinkedIn because that's the type of people I'm trying to attract. I don't really need to attract the engineering people because I know how to get to the engineering path, It's the real estate and the outside path that I want people to explore. There's not really much exploration in the engineering field because I already know if I did engineering, what I would do, I already know that there's a set path.
Is that kind of the non-appeal to it, is you already know how that's going to play out? Do you?
Yeah, part of it is, I like to think it's brave to go outside of it and try to figure it out for yourself.
Sure. Well, your dad, does he do pretty well? Is he a good engineer? Has he done well in his career?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's kind of, has he already blazed that trail and you don't really see a way that you could do it even better than him?
Not really. I haven't really thinking about he's done it, so I don't need to do it. It's more just, I did well in school with engineering subjects, but I'm not as passionate about that as this other route.
Okay. So what got you interested in the other route, or what made you know that it existed? Do you have other influences? Are they family members? Are they friends?
I met through my sport gymnastics. I met one of my mentors who ran a business, and he just kind of got me into it all and started reading and gave me books to read and gave me new ideas.
Okay.
It was very appealing to me.
Gotcha.
That you kind of find these deals and find this is a new way of thinking that was really exciting.
Okay. And this person, they have a bunch of businesses, they're in real estate. You just happened upon them, or were they part of the gym that you were a part of?
They trained at the gym as well, and
okay.
They ran their own business as well.
Okay. And how long have you known this person?
Just one person. I've known him for a while. He's been training at my gym.
Have you looked at possibly working for them?
I do work for him.
Okay.
He runs a coaching business, a gymnastics coaching business.
Okay.
I coach for him. But yeah, I definitely bounce a lot of ideas off him and get his opinion on things as well.
Sure. And then the real estate route, is he also in real estate? So he takes money from the gymnast and the coaching and then puts it into real estate?
Yeah, a little bit. He's got his own property.
Do you have any other mentors or people that have shown you that path? Is it just from books, reading, and kind of looking around on YouTube?
In the past 2 weeks, I've met a few people that really do sound like me and think like me, and I found a few people that do sound like me in the past few weeks.
Gotcha.
And they do have similar ambitions.
Talk to me about your side hustles. So what have you done?
So last year, this is through my mentor. He showed me how to resell things on Marketplace and find cheap items, get them in and relist them, and sometimes clean them, relist them, and make a profit.
Gotcha.
And I did that for a bit last year, and then also, that was the main one. And then like small stuff, like I'd sell crepes. I'd make crepes at my school and I'd sell them.
Sure.
And just other little things.
You seem pretty excited when you talk about that stuff. Have you made some money doing that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Like it was like 4,000 in total.
Sure.
And then investing in stuff, I try to invest the money that I save.
Okay. And who have you been doing that with? Your mentor, your parents, yourself?
Myself.
Okay. So you don't have a investment mentor at the moment? What about your mentor? What do they put their money into? What do your parents put their money into?
My parents don't invest much, but they're getting into real estate.
Okay.
After I've been talking to them about it a lot. And my mentor, he just, I guess, invests a little bit in real estate and mainly back into the business.
Sure. All right, so if you hadn't met this person, what do you think you'd be thinking right now?
It's a good question. I think I would have probably fallen onto this path eventually, but he definitely was like a catalyst that set it off.
Sure.
At that point in time.
But how did you know it existed? Did you see somebody with a Ferrari and try to figure out how they got it? So how do you know about real estate and side businesses and hustles?
I don't remember a specific reel or a specific clip that got me excited. I think just online there's a lot of that going on nowadays.
Yeah, it's the new in thing. Everybody's got to be a businessman or an entrepreneur, and that's the only way to do it. And you'll make zillions of dollars, and everybody will love you, and you'll have tons of women and money and opportunities and all those kind of things, right?
That sounds unrealistic. That makes me sound silly.
Well,
it makes me feel silly hearing you say that.
Right, and that's one thing that you can.
Thank you so much for that. I think it's more just the learning along the way. And sure, I'll get money out of it. Sure, I'm not that worried about cars. I think it's just there's more meaning to that than doing engineering. When I compete against, when I was at school and I was like, okay, I'm going to set my sights, try as hard as I can with this last year of school. And I just found competing with the people in the space wasn't the best use of my time. Like I felt like a better use of my time was connecting with people, communicating with people, as opposed to like studying and competing with people in that sense. I'm trying to find a way to articulate that. It's think about it more. But do you understand sort of what I'm getting at?
Yeah, 100%. And actually, I forgot to hit record in Teams, so hopefully we'll have to figure out how to audio some of that back in. Okay, so you have a path that you could go for engineering. You could go to school, go to university, get some job, work as an engineer, and do those kind of things. Okay, and then you've always been interested in side hustles and talking to people and making connections and doing those kind of things. And then you've gotten a mentor who is a business person and has kind of shown you the way and gotten you some books. And then you see all these people on YouTube and TikTok and social media that are, doing great and entrepreneurs and taking over the world and everything's amazing, right? And that path is appealing to you. You kind of see the path of engineering and what it might turn into, and you have examples of that. How many examples do you have of the business path? Is it just your one mentor? How many other people have you kind of dug into? Do you know? Have you looked into the lives of?
Not many. And that makes me think, is it a real path? If I haven't seen that many people do it, is it really something that will work if I haven't seen many people do it?
Well, so one of the first paths and is that Mom back there? Mom is doing amazing if that's you going by.
She's gone.
Does she know you're on a call today?
She will now.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, we snuck it in.
I'll tell her about it after.
One of the first pieces of advice I give people, Nico, is if there's something you want to do, Okay, cool. Let's go find who's the best at it. Who's in your area? Who can you talk to? Who can you get in front of? Who can you spend 5 minutes with? Who can you connect with, right? And you guys are really good at your age of being able to reach out to people. I mean, just look at the example. You reached out to me, and within a few days, a week, we're on a call together, right? So you can take that example for, I need to get in front of and have conversations with as many as people as possible in the path that I'm looking into, right? You want to know, is it real? Can I do it? Is it good for me? Is it going to fulfill what I'm trying to do? Does it satisfy my why? Right? What is my why, and does it satisfy that? And is there a clear path or connections that could get me there? The other thing you want to look for is what qualifications and background do those people have, right? So if you always wanted to be a great cricket player, well, what did they do? Did they go to a certain school? Did they do a certain training? If you looked into being a gymnast, where did they go? Where did they train? How often did they train? How did they eat, right? You're looking for patterns of how to recreate the success that people have had in areas that you may be interested in. Now, one of the easiest things to do is to talk to them, right? And be like, dude, if you were my age and you want to do what you're doing right now, what would you do differently? And then you just write down every damn thing they say and you do it, right?
Yeah.
And what you want to do is you want to get as many data points as possible, so that you can kind of begin to see the patterns of what's going on and then become more efficient and more effective and better at it, right? You'd like to shortcut their 30 years it took them to do that into 5 or 6 years, because then you can make the world a better place. Now, this is really interesting because this is kind of the core of your original question, right? Should I pursue my business interests or should I look into engineering? Okay. Here's a really cool thing about engineering, Nico. That's exactly what you learn how to do. To dig into data, to dig into the world, to model it, to figure out what's going on, to figure out those patterns, and then become really efficient and effective at doing what it is you're trying to do, right? If you want someone to create a process of how to do something, you don't go ask a real estate guy, you ask an engineer, right? And I give an example from my own life. I, for years, tried to talk my son, who's in university now, into doing business and real estate. Please do business and real estate. Please don't do engineering, okay? What's he in school for? Mechanical engineering. Why? He told me, Dad, you taught me that an engineer can do anything. Because once you learn the process of how to break down something, learn the engineering method of figuring out something, creating a theory, gathering data, doing an experiment, and then looping back to create the process of what you're trying to do, he said, you've taught me that an engineer could do anything. You could run a business, you could be a chef, you could be a real estate agent, or you could be an engineer. You could be all of the above. So I do want you to think about something, Nico. See, I was the same way as you when I was a kid. I had 17 businesses. My dad built houses. I got my real estate license. I worked in real estate. I worked in finance. I worked in land deals. I did all those kind of things. And so I came at it from the other direction. Right? I kind of done all those things. I've seen all those things, but I don't really have the technical background to really do it really well. So I was good at math and science and good in school. And I said, well, with those God-given talents, maybe that's the path I should go down. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I looked in all the engineerings, and the least specific, most versatile one was mechanical engineering. So I said, you know what, hell, I'll do that. That could be cool because I can probably figure out what I want to do in life from there. And so my life has just been kind of a journey since. Now, many years later, I own my own engineering company. I'm part of multiple other businesses. I'm doing this YouTube channel to find and help kids like yourself figure out what the hell they want to do in life. You know, I have a calling to help industry and people that are out there. And what's really cool is now we're in a perfect time for this, right? So we have a world that's changing. There's only certain areas of the world that have young kids that can buy things and do stuff. We've got the US, we've got New Zealand, we've got Argentina, we've got parts of the Middle East, we've got Southeast Asia, right? These are places with millennials. They have people that can make things and continue to buy stuff. And so the big thing that we need right now are technical people, engineers, people who can do technology, right? And all of those people can then also run a business doing that. So the thing I encourage you, Nico, is to dig real quickly into both. Like, what's going to happen if you go to school and you hate it? You can still go and do something else, right?
Won't I be busy doing school then?
Well, are you going to be in school 24 hours a day? I doubt it, right? Class only takes up, a few hours a day, and then you've got work for class. I mean, my son puts 40, 50, maybe 60 hours a week at most into school, right? There's another 108 hours in the week to do other things, right? You're young, you don't sleep anyway. You're going to spend time doing something. So start you a side hustle, start you a business, keep working for your mentor, and train in technical aspects, train as an engineer, and figure out how to map those skills back into business. That's one route you could take, right? One of the difficult things to do is if, let's say you go the business and real estate route, right? 15 years from now, it's going to be really hard to go back and do engineering. Go the engineering route, you can pick up business at any point. Grab the book, grab a mentor, get started, start selling stuff, learn how to do marketing, watch Alex Hormozy videos for 35 straight hours, right? There's many different things that you can do there. But it might be difficult for you to go back later and get that technical degree, to get that technology, that math and science, that ability to do things at a real scientific process-driven level. So it's something to think about, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever done engineering school?
No. Like, I've just finished school and I am in like day 3 of university.
Sure. Do you have friends that are further along? People that you've met?
Yeah, I know people that are in, yeah. My brother's actually in 3rd year.
Okay.
Engineering.
He's in engineering as well. What does he say about this? Is he business oriented or technical oriented?
More technical. He was definitely very good in school, and he loves engineering.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting combination because my older son, engineering. My younger son, very good technically, but what's he going to do? Real estate and business. He's actually in school now doing marketing and learning the business side of things.
Wait, you had one that was interesting.
I have an older son who's in engineering school, and he's a junior going into his senior year in engineering school, right? I have a younger son that just started university, and he's going for business and real estate because that's what he wants to do. He likes talking to people and doing things and making connections and all that kind of stuff. He wasn't as good technically in school because it kind of bored him. Once he figured out the process, it was easy for him. He would just bang it out, right? For him, he sees bigger visions of grander things and helping more people at a higher level, right? And in his own words, make a ton of money. Like, that's what he wants to do. That's his new goal in life, make a ton of money, and then he can do what he wants and change the world the way he wants to, right?
Yeah.
Could be an interesting combination. If your brother is already there, maybe you need to look into a business where the two of you could partner up, and he could be your technical person and you could be the business side. Any really good company has both people. They have the visionary and the integrator, right? Look at Microsoft. We had Bill Gates, and then we had Wozniak, who did most of the technical work, right?
Yeah.
Right? And every good company has got a blend of those kind of people. So one of the things that you could do, let me ask this question. Does your university offer a program where you can do an engineering degree and an MBA at the same time?
Yeah, it'd be another year on top of the 4. Okay.
So that could be our perfect combination, right? You can go to engineering school and learn all the, at least language and how to analyze things and problem solve, and work on the business side, which is the training for the marketing and the sales and the operational background and all those kind of things, right? It's an amazing program, and probably what I would have done had it been available in my day, right? Because I'm big time into the sales side and the business side and the helping people and making connections and putting bigger things together, right? I'm good technically, but I'm probably better at problem solving on a grander scale with a bunch of people. You might be the same way. I would definitely look into that right now, right? And here's the thing. Let's say you go to uni and you do engineering for 2 years, okay? What are you taking in classes for those first 2 years?
Pretty general stuff. Right.
Yeah. Life, sociology, philosophy, maybe some math and science.
But you're talking an engineering degree? You take those?
Well, I'm not sure how your degree is structured, but most of them here in the U.S. are structured where you take your basics the first couple of years, your calculus, your physics, and those things, but you also take humanities and social sciences and political science and marketing, and, you know, you can fill in with other classes, right? And I encourage you, like my son now, even the technical one, he's taking at least one business class a semester. Might be accounting, might be marketing, might be sales, right? Because those are things that, A, it's an easy A, or you can get a good grade in it, because it's not as hard as some of the technical classes, but it also blends everything together, right? Because to me, the perfect combination is having a good background in both. Right?
Yeah. I appreciate the technical background an engineer gives, and that's a worry if I got into the sales side. It's like, this would be good for 5 to 10 years, but what about 15, 20, 30 years?
And it was the same thing when I finished my undergrad. I had one of my professors come to me and want me to stay for graduate school. And I was sitting in this same spot because I had a whole bunch of job offers. Some were in the business side, some were in the technical side, some were both, right? And they all had great paths. But I just kept asking myself, the technical knowledge is the thing I'm not going to be able to come back to and get again. Like if I can get it now and really learn how to do this stuff at a really high level, I'm set ahead of everyone else. And then I have enough background in sales and business and other things that I could probably fake it till I make it there, right? I can always pick up a book or get a course or do some Tony Robbins or grab an extra video or read another book, right? But it's the learning how to do the technical stuff at a really high level that I might have trouble doing again. So I stayed for graduate school. Took me an extra year, but it's probably saved 10 years of my career. It probably got me further and faster than I could have gotten without it. So it's definitely something to think about. I'll also throw this back to you. So I was Gen X. We were not very many of us in school, right? So there weren't a lot of kids to choose from. So a lot of companies came to the schools, and one great example is Accenture. You've probably heard of them. Big, huge, massive consulting company that builds the backbone of everything that we use in society, all the systems, all the computers, big corporations run on what they build, right? Governments, etc. Guess who they hired? They didn't hire computer scientists or programmers. They came and got engineers. Because you can teach an engineer to program, but you can't teach a programmer to engineer. So something to think about as you go forward, right? The scientific method and how you break down a problem and analyze it and gather data and figure out what's going on, you can literally map into any industry. The other thing is there's damn few of us right now, Nico. So my company gets a customer probably every month or two because their engineer they have died, not retired, doesn't do it anymore. They aren't here anymore. There are precious few of us out here. So there's going to be massive opportunity all over the world to work in engineering and technical skills, right? And then since you already bring some business, sales, hustling background to it, you're literally the perfect match for anything anybody wants.
Yeah. It sounds so clear now, It's like, okay, I'll do engineering and that sounds good.
Well, because that's not all you're going to do, Nico, because I'm going to hold you to more than that, right?
Okay.
You have a bigger opportunity. You've already seen the light of what's possible on the business side. You have a mentor that's there that's helping you, that's giving you books that you need to be reading and studying and training on and figuring out and asking lots of questions. You just had this call where you talked through what you're thinking about doing, and it's revolutionary, right? It becomes so much more clear when you speak it out in the open. So you now have to go find other people to have these conversations with, right? That's one of the reasons I do this channel, is to put this out there and get you guys thinking, to get people like you talking to people like me so that we can change the world and make it a better place. So I'm holding you to more than that. Like, you can go to uni, but you also need to keep working for your mentor. You also need to be looking and making connections to other people in areas you may want to work in the future. You might one day re-engineer the entire way real estate happens in Spain.
A lot of them are really set against, like, for example, my mentor, really set against engineering and just university in general. They think it is a waste of time and you're better off learning skills in the real world.
Well, so that's an interesting question.
Let me just finish. Oh, sorry. It was a thought. Like, I'm scared I will lose my mentor because I go to uni.
Do they have an engineering degree?
No. They went and they did the hustle way where they just didn't, they just kept trying and failing, and then they ran their business.
Sure. Okay, so I had this conversation with my younger son because he wanted to do business in real estate, okay? In the state I live in, if you make decent grades, you can go to the local universities basically for free, or you get a large portion of your tuition paid. So he had a big, long, I'll call it argument / discussion mainly with his mother, who's a pharmacist. Her whole family is teachers, educators, principals, and all those kind of things, right? So university was the only way you could ever do anything, right? And if you didn't get a degree, you were nobody, and you couldn't change the world, and you couldn't make a mark, right?
Yeah.
Well, he had a really good point with her one day where he said, okay, I want to do business in real estate. None of my mentors that I've talked to and looked into have any kind of degree. All of them just got started. And why in the hell would I waste 4 to 5 years of my life when I could have 4 to 5 years of experience?
Yeah.
That's a great question, right? And if that's what you wanted to do, which is you're just going to do business in real estate, you could really focus there and get really good at it over the next 4 or 5 years, right? But you have the opportunity to also do school. And the thing she came back to him with was, well, school's paid for. Why don't you take business classes and work while you're doing it, maybe in real estate, and then just see what path opens up for you? Wow, that makes lots of sense, right? If you've got university where someone will cover the bills and you don't necessarily have to go out in the world and beat your head against the wall with bills and expenses and responsibilities, and you don't have a family and all those kind of things that you have to deal with, you're in a great protected environment to be able to do both. Why not take advantage of that, right? Why not see and make sure that that's not what you want to do? Because right now you're using your mentor's opinion. And I will tell you this is something to think about, Nico. If people draw hard lines in the sand and don't really have data behind it, you have to question either their motive or their love for you, right? Because if they're there for you and the path you want to go down, then there should probably be open to just about anything. Now, they can have really hard opinions. Like right now, my wife's oldest daughter, we're in a huge battle because I 1000% disagree with the path she's on, but I'm still going to support her in doing it, right? I just want her to do it as well as she possibly can, right? I just want her to talk to mentors and other people and gather data and try it out and see if that's what she wants to do before she locks herself in, right? And I think if you had a longer conversation with your mentor, replayed this video to him and talked to him and said, hey, here's the path I'm thinking about, what do you think? They might still disagree with it, but you also have to understand that your life is your choice, Nico.
Yeah.
You will learn over time, especially as an engineer, that you gather lots and lots of data and then you make a facts-based decision, not an emotion-based one, right?
Can we go back to, so you said you were interested in business and real estate and then you went to engineering school. Is that like 10 years after, or is that straight out of high school you went into?
So I grew up, my parents were the first in their family to go to college. My dad was a computer science math major, worked at a big fancy corporation doing computer systems, worked his way up to head of HR. And he quit one day. And at the time I was in kindergarten, I think, and I wore $100 pants and we went to the country club and we had a fancy house and cars and tons of money. And he quit because he didn't like going to work anymore. And I remember the plate hitting the floor in my kitchen when he told my mom, and I got told to go to my room while they discussed it for a while, right? Well, he started selling real estate in 1980, which was the worst year in the history of real estate in the United States. So we went from all the money in the world to absolutely none of the money, right? We were watering down cans of soup to eat after having everything on earth, right? But he was happy. He was selling real estate. He started building houses. He really enjoyed what he was doing. He built his own business. They built up a business over a long period of time. And I grew up in that business. So I grew up in business every single day. That's all we talked about, morning, noon, and night. Let's talk about business, even though I didn't want to. Let's work some more, even though I didn't want to. Hey, let's work Saturday and Sunday and all night. I got my real estate license. I helped draw, and I started drafting and drawing houses and designing houses for my dad. This was when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, so high school in the U.S. And I was really good in school, in math, science. I started doing home design, CAD, modeling, three-dimensional type stuff. I really dug it, really enjoyed it. And I managed to get a really high score on the ACT, which meant I could go to school for free if I wanted to. And I started looking around at what I wanted to do. I could keep doing what my dad was doing, but that was always going to be there, right? I could go off on my own. I didn't know what that meant. I hadn't really worked in a lot of other things. I had a few mentors that were in business and other things, but the more and more I looked at it, I had a talent and an ability in math and science, and I had an opportunity to go to school basically for free. And I said, you know what? I can always come back to all these other things, but if I learn how to be a really good engineer, I can probably then still do all of these things, but just better. And what's interesting is that's exactly how that's worked out, right? I'm back in business. I run a business. I do all kinds of business things, getting myself back into real estate and all those kind of things. They're all going to be available to you from now on. But that key training and that ability to then go break down anything won't always be there, right? So if you do have that opportunity to go to engineering school, I would highly encourage at least starting there. Maybe you get into it 2 years from now and you go, this sucks and I hate it and I can't stand any of it and I don't see a path here. Well, at least you tried it out, right? You're not set back any. And if I hold you to you're still working for your mentor or finding another one to work in business and real estate, then you haven't lost anything. You're still on it. You're still working on it, right? Take it as a extra form of training. You're learning how to be better at business and real estate by getting an engineering degree. And you might have something open up. Maybe there's an opportunity in business and technical and engineering that you never even thought was there. Like right now, there's probably 4 other businesses that I need to start immediately coming out of my engineering company. We've already started one. We started a technical marketing company for engineers and welders and fabricator shops, and it's already spun off and doing its own business now. We're about to start a software company to develop engineering software. We're building out an education network. We have a vendor group that is basically a white label affiliate for finding work for other engineers and technical people. There's massive amounts of opportunity in everything that we do. Every customer we talk to needs marketing and sales and running their books and C-level reporting and figuring out how to run their business. Like, we need to keep them welding and pipe fitting and doing the things that they do, right? So there's so much opportunity on the technical side, especially in North America, Argentina, Southeast Asia, all these places that have millennials and where everything's going to be built and where the industrial base. Like right now in this country, everything that went to China 25, 30 years ago is all coming home. Every bit of it. We've got to build twice as many power plants here. We have to build and we see it in the work coming into the engineering company every day. There's so much opportunity in the technical industry right now that there are hundreds of thousands of businesses that you don't even have to start, is the cool part, Nico. So here's an opportunity that you guys that are younger have that we didn't, okay? There are millions of boomer businesses that have no succession plan. They will literally hand you the business and just take it if you'll keep it going and keep their people employed and help their customers. They'll sell or finance it out. They don't want money. They just want it to continue, right? Welding shops, fabrication shops, all kinds of businesses. And think about everything that's related around that, right? Like I have a friend of mine, he has started a land development company that's going to find larger portions of land and carve them up for mixed-use communities where you have some industrial work, some commercial area, and some residential area, so people don't have to travel as far, right? Because everyone's looking for a place to put a plant, and they need a place to go eat dinner, and they need a place to live. So if they can find the opportunity for that, now they've helped all of those people.
I'm thinking of, I was just starting to get set on my real estate and my sales. And I'm thinking, okay, how would this look? So you think I'd have enough time to do engineering and still try to get a real estate license and still try to explore that? Because
why wouldn't you?
I worry. A lot of people talk about how much work and how full time it is doing a real engineering.
Sure.
And for me to do, I worry for me to do engineering, not because I actually want to get an engineering job, but to take it towards business. It's like, okay, how much? So
here's the thing, Nico. You're not average, right? The average person would have trouble doing that. You're a hard charger, A player. I mean, just look, you reached out to me, you're on this call, you're thinking about it, you've got a mentor, you've been working hard, you do side hustles. You're not the average person.
I want to believe I can do it.
Well, there's one real easy way to find out.
Just try it.
Yeah, just do it, man. Just start. And the thing is, like, when you start to block your schedule, I'll come back to an example from my life. And I only have a few more minutes here. I actually have another call after you, so we can set up another one to keep going at some point if you want. I'll give you from an example from my own life. So I came back and realized that if I really took some extra hours, I could finish my engineering degree in a final 2 semesters instead of 3 or 4. The problem was I had to take an overload of hours. I had to take 20 and 19 hours in 2 semesters of engineering. Normal load's 15, maybe less. So I was doubling up with extra work. And here's the cool part. With all that extra shit to do, in addition to the things I was doing outside of school, I got the best grades of my life because I blocked in my schedule. I dedicated myself in the times that I was to study to actually study, right? Same thing I do with my schedule now. I do tons and tons of work, volunteer, run companies, make calls like this. I stay busy and I get lots done, and I still have time to go goof off and do things and game and hang out with my friends and all that stuff. The thing is, you just block it into your schedule, right? My son has found it in university that he has more time on his hands than he thought he would, even more than he had in high school, because he doesn't have a 9 to 5 day. He has class from 9 to 12, then he has to get ready for a test, and then he has to go to lab, and then he has this, and then he has that. But he just is blocked in his schedule and has a standard work day where every day he works from 8 to 5 or 6, and then grabs dinner with friends, and then does what he wants to do, and then studies for tests the next day if he needs to. You can build a schedule to get lots of things done. Remember, there's 168 hours in a week. That's a lot of hours, especially, see, here's the thing, Nico, the business side is not going to be work to you. That's the fun part. That's what you like doing, right?
Yeah.
So while you're banging your head through the drudgery of calculus and physics and all those other things, and the end goal to be a really good businessman with technical and engineering experience, you also get the reward of going and working a sales job, bird dogging real estate for your mentor, helping in other businesses, continuing to help him coach. What if you just had a coaching gig to help pay some bills and keep you talking to people an hour a day? What's that going to take you? 5, 6, 7 hours a week?
Would you say the coaching gig? Where you coach? What are you saying? Sorry, the coaching gig.
You said your mentor had a coaching business?
Like gymnastics coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're saying keep working.
You could do that on Saturdays, right? Half a day. That's 4 hours of your 168 hours. You still got a lot of hours to work on other stuff. And the thing is, okay, let's say you get in there and you hose it, right? You get in there and you've overcommitted. Well, just scale back a little. Like even if you screw up, you haven't messed up. You've just learned how to not do something. If you take every opportunity in front of you, whether it turns out good or bad, as an experience of what you're trying to learn how to do, then life becomes so much better. Hey, your grades. I've done that with my 2 sons in school. So we met weekly for a while when they first started university, and we looked at their schedule and what they had going on. And the very first thing I made them do was a time log. Okay, I need you to log your time and what you do all week. And then I didn't tell them anything. We just looked at it. And they were like, wow, I spent a lot of time on that and I didn't get any result. Yeah, that's right. And they're like, man, if I put this time into this, I would have, yes, exactly. And then they're like, wait a minute, I still have time to go to ball games and spend time with my girlfriend and do all the things that I want to do. Yes. If you've never actually sat down and just mapped out your schedule, dude, there's 168 hours. That's a lot of time to do lots of things. All right, what's your final question, Nico?
Can we do this again?
100%. I'd love to get maybe you and your brother. That might be a good, interesting call because we'd have the technical guy and the business guy, and we could talk about the differences. And I think that might help a lot of people. Maybe you can get that set up.
Do you post these or? Do you post these or?
I will. You'll end up on YouTube here at some point. We'll throw you out on LinkedIn if you want to. We just did a really cool one with one kid. We were talking about business and engineering. It may have been the video that you saw. And what's funny is we also posted it up on LinkedIn, and he's starting to get job offers off of it. So it's kind of interesting.
Very cool.
Yep. Well, and the other thing is, think about the person that's coming a year or 2 from now and has this same question. Now they get to have this conversation, even though they weren't here, right? They get to benefit from what we've just laid down for them. And I think that's the most important thing we've got to do going forward is make sure that we're helping the next person coming behind us. Because there's a whole lot less people coming behind us than there were before us. So it's going to be harder and harder, and there's fewer of them, and we got to help them as much as we can. Now, I'd love to have a conversation with you and your brother. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'll go message him now.
All right, hit him up. I've got a business conference next week in Mexico, and then I'm spending an extra week down there because it's been cold as shit in the U.S., so I want to stay warm for a little while. So I'm going to go hang out on the beach, and I'm actually hanging out with a bunch of other business people. So it's a business conference, and we spend a lot of time we probably start a business every year out of this one conference. So that's another thing that you can do is find other people to talk to. Hit me up. I'll connect you. Look up the Fastlane forum online. I'm actually a mod on there. MJ is really cool dude. He's got some good books. You should probably read.
Oh yeah, MJ DeMarco.
Yes. Get on the Fastlane forum. I'm a mod on there. Great books. What's that?
That's a website for.
Yep, the Fastlane forum.
Would you say that website? Is that a website for like-minded people? Or?
It's MJ's site that he originally built to sell the book into, and it's basically just a massive community of business people and entrepreneurs and things like that. You should probably get on one of the kids' calls. There's a group that's in Asia that has a call. There's a group in Europe that has a call. They call once a week and just talk to each other about what they're doing and what they're thinking and all that kind of stuff. So it's good. Like you said, it's good to talk out loud and hear it, because then it starts to make a lot more sense. All right, young man. Anything else I can do for you? You're going to hit me up for a call, so we'll do that in a couple weeks, maybe when I get back from Mexico.
Yeah.
You'll have 10,000 more questions. I would challenge your mentor and just say, hey, what if I flipped it? Like, here's a cool thing to do when you're having a discussion like this, Nico. Halfway through, switch sides.
Yeah.
Okay? Just switch sides with him. Just say, hey, I want to do an experiment. Tell me why I shouldn't do engineering. Right? And then switch sides. Now tell me why I should do engineering.
Yeah.
You rail against it, have him rail for it, and just see what you come out with. It might be an interesting conversation. All right, young man. I'm going to move on to my next call. Yep. Hope you have an amazing day. Go get some shit done, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right. Talk to you later, Nico. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.